Hey there, everyone! That sexy nerd is coming at you again, and we're watching my boy Heavy Spoilers this time. We're doing a different guy. I love Heavy Spoilers. I don't know his real name, unfortunately, but I love his videos. He's been like when new rock stars can't pick up the slack, this is the guy to go to. His videos are amazing. I really got to do reactions to more of them because I love them. And you know, let's we're looking at the original MCU plan, and honestly, I've never been more excited for one of his videos. I really want to watch. Really want to watch this. I want to see what the original MCU plan was because, like, a different plan was formulating over these movies, and I'm sure the end game was a hell of a lot different. Than that, I had heard rumors that that these movies were supposed to be different, that a lot more characters were supposed to be created. We were supposed to get Spider-Man a lot sooner. We were supposed to get Namor, I'm sure, Black Panther a lot sooner. There's a lot of different characters, but I don't know. This movie's only 8 minutes. I mean, this video is only 8 minutes long. So I want to see what I was actually missing and what I got right, or what I actually thought would be right, or maybe I'm going to be completely surprised by this. So let's just get into the video. And remember, please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content. And let's do this thing, y'all.
Okay, so the Marvel Cinematic Universe is about to close off Phase 4 with the release of Wakanda Forever later this year.
Okay.
The studio is unmatched in its cohesiveness, and though many have tried to imitate it, none have managed it. Even the studio that's in second place still hasn't come close to pulling off what Kevin Feige has accomplished, and so many of them have struggled to even get out the gate with their shared universe plans. Though it seems almost perfect in design, the original plan for the MCU...
So what, no love for the Monsterverse? What's going on there?
Was a lot different, and I thought we'd ask, what if Kevin Feige had have gone with his original vision? Throughout this video, we're going to be going over what the universe was originally meant to look like, the characters in it, and also the payoff that we would have got. So come with us, watcher, as we break it all down and discuss what was originally supposed to happen. If you enjoy the video, please hit the thumbs up button, and also don't forget to subscribe because I love you 3000. We also just launched a Clips channel that's about to hit 2,000 subscribers, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys check that out. I'll leave that as the pinned comment, and with that out of the way, welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka your friendly neighborhood spoiler man. Now let's get into the breakdown. Now, in order to discuss the full plan, we have to talk about how hard up that Marvel were in the 90s, as it massively affects the way that things were laid out. Marvel Studios itself started up in the same decade, and it mainly worked with licenses as part of its parent company. Now, Marvel Studios basically centered around selling off major characters to other studios so that the company could keep afloat. I'm sure you've heard the story about how they had to sell office equipment to other places just to keep the lights on, and they had truly fallen from greatness. In this time, they sold the film rights to Spider-Man, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Hulk, and all their flagship characters. Hulk did sort of get a cooperative deal with Universal, but it was pretty much the company trying to scramble for as much cash as they could before it all came crashing down. In 1996, they filed for bankruptcy, but slowly they managed to claw their way back. At the time, American businessman Carl Icahn started buying bonds in the company at 20% of their value, and he eventually took over everything. In 1997, during the bankruptcy renegotiation phase, Toy Biz then bought Marvel from the banks, and shortly after this, it was once more taken over again by Ron Perlman, who regained control again. Slowly, it was pulled out of bankruptcy, and it would go on to become the juggernaut that we now know it as today. Now, in 1998, the company got somewhat of a big revival in the mainstream with the release of Blade. Blade was a big gamble for them, and under the name Marvel Enterprises, the film released to positive reviews. It also got a box office of $131 million off the back of a $45 million budget, making it not a massive success, but still really positive. Now, it wouldn't be long before other studios started to propel the property purchases that they'd bought, and we saw the X-Men and Spider-Man drop to great success. This also got a lot of interest in the comics, and Marvel's sales slowly but surely started to pick up. They got a lot of secondary gains from selling this stuff, and the brand-related income that came in from merchandising offered them new opportunities. Marvel Studios started looking at self-financing in 2004, and they put together a plan to make 10 films. This was going to span across an 8-year window, with us getting roughly one a year, but in some instances 2. It's important to bear in mind that they didn't own the rights to Iron Man at this time, and thus he's not included in the original plan.
Really?
New Line owned him up to November 2005, and then when they were released, it vastly altered what Marvel were going to do. What they wanted to create, though, was the following: a Captain America movie that started it all off, a Nick Fury one, Hawkeye, Power Pack, Shang-Chi, Black Panther, Ant-Man,
Really?
Cloak and Dagger, and also an Avengers one. Now, the one that probably stands out the most to you there is the Avengers, who would have had a completely different lineup. We don't know the specifics here, but Nick Fury would have followed the same role that he did in the eventual Phase 1 that we got. He'd go around recruiting the other members of the team, and the Avengers themselves would be made up of the characters I mentioned. So yes, Shang-Chi and Black Panther were originally going to be part of the team, along with Hawkeye and Captain America. There's also, of course, Doctor Strange and Ant-Man, who did end up coming into the MCU after Civil War, and it shows how much things changed once Marvel started regaining their IPs. Out of the entire lineup they had, only Captain America and the Avengers ended up actually being released in their original 8 years, showing how much stuff can shift about. Now, along with getting the Iron Man rights back, they also secured them from other studios. Thor was freed up from Paramount, Black Widow came from Lionsgate, and Hulk was freed up slightly from Universal.
Wow.
So you can see how getting this all back really started to change things, and interestingly, Tony Stark was never supposed to be the face of the MCU. It's weird to think about this, especially due to how iconic Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal is, but he was thought of as a character they could use to introduce others rather than being the main guy. The position of power was originally going to fall to the Hulk, who Marvel had had success with due to Ang Lee's movie and of course the legendary 70s TV show. Robert Downey Jr. wasn't even really wanted to be part of the universe at the time due to controversy surrounding him, and it was only due to Jon Favreau that they were convinced to take the shot. His movie was a big success, and after Iron Man was released, Marvel announced that the other films they had coming would all lead into the Avengers. Slowly things started to slot into place with a shared universe plan all coming together bit by bit. Tony appeared in The Incredible Hulk, Thor was hinted at in Iron Man 2, and then Thor itself ended with a tease to the Avengers with Captain America showing the first trailer for it. Now from this point onwards, Marvel came to realize how important it was to have a plan in place, and they of course finished out the Avengers with a tease towards Thanos in the post-credits scene. The studio also started to showcase their plans far in advance so that they could make minor changes to it if needs be. Marvel admitted that after Batman v Superman was announced, they decided to change direction, and having such a plan laid out like this allowed them to be reactive and see where trends were going. There was also Spider-Man Homecoming that originally wasn't part of the lineup, but this all changed after the Sony email hack. The studio were heading down the Amazing Spider-Man route, but they ended up talking it out with Feige, and the two sides came to a deal that allowed him to come back into the universe. There's also the Inhumans that were dropped after the series didn't go down too well, but on the whole, Marvel has been a big success. They've reached the point now where they've almost got back the rights to all their original characters, and going forward into Phase 5 and 6, we'll be seeing more from the Fantastic Four and likely the X-Men. Some of the standout things about the original plan too are characters that we never really got in the MCU. Though Cloak and Dagger got a show, we still haven't heard anything about Power Pack, and they're probably the most obscure characters on the entire list.
Seriously?
There's also the Nick Fury movie, which I think we will sort of get when Secret Invasion rolls around. Looking back at what was originally meant to be, it's kind of crazy to think how things have changed, and it shows the big comeback journey that Marvel have gone on. Here's an organization that had to sell filing cabinets to stay afloat, and they now completely dominate the industry. Though we don't know exactly what the plot of these movies would have been, it's interesting to see how it all changed, and it really makes you wonder if what we got is the best thing that we could have got. Personally, I think it is, and the big risk in Robert Downey Jr. really paid off, as it allowed them to get attention on their company during a time when DC was dominating with its Dark Knight trilogy. It's really interesting to see how stuff in the original plan has now been drafted in, but I'd of course love to hear your thoughts on it in the comments below.
Great. Yeah, that's crazy. The Power Pack. I'd never even heard of the damn Power Pack. I mean, well, okay, yeah, I heard of them, but I have no idea what the hell they do. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. Oof. But yeah, isn't that great? It would have been unique, but I had no idea Shang-Chi was such a character to be considered as a movie character back then. But I don't remember when he came out. But you know, I think he came out in like the 70s or something, and then they just had him as a revival. Because didn't he have the villain Fu Manchu or something like that. Ooh, ooh, bad. Ah, but yeah, a Nick Fury movie. Imagine Secret Invasion, like because again, we're gonna get that very soon, and I really hope they do well with that. Because I love Secret Invasion and more than most people because I think it's a great story and they did it really well in this show called Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and it's just a very interesting storyline that the Skrulls come by, and I want to see how the Skrulls actually do uh, invade Earth, or how they're going to be able to take over. Even though I really think they should have built this up or teased this. But hopefully Marvel can pull it off. But you know, everybody's been complaining. I'm sure people are going to complain about it because, like, hey, they've not been stumbling honestly because again, Doctor Strange is one of my most successful videos, and people are watching it for a reason, and it's most people's. It's I personally love that movie, and again, I don't care if it's a little dumb. It's not even a little dumb. It's just a little weirdly written, but that's it. Other than that, it's a great movie. And then let's not forget Spider-Man: No Way Home. Ooh, best MC, best my favorite, not my second favorite Spider-Man, but because I think it goes into the Spider-Verse, then Spider-Man 2, and then Spider-Man: No Way Home. Yeah, I think that's how it is. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I hope they pull off Secret Invasion the right way. I really do, and hopefully they can pull it off. Hopefully. But anyway, that was interesting, wasn't it? Remember, please like and subscribe if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content, and I'll see you on the next video.